Welcome, friends, to my story channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. The Stepmother's Grudge, Why She Killed Her Stepdaughter. Fatima's life was a canvas painted with tears. Her existence was confined to the cold, unyielding walls of a house where cruelty reigned supreme. Her stepmother, Zara, seemed to take perverse pleasure in stripping Fatima of any happiness. Fatima's father, oblivious to Zara's true nature, often traveled for work, leaving her alone to endure the torment. Each morning, Fatima's delicate hands bore the weight of endless chores, her frail body trembling with exhaustion. Her beauty and gentle nature were her only possessions, but they had become her greatest curse. Zara despised her for them, seeing her as a threat to her own daughter, Alia. Once, when Fatima accidentally spilled a jug of water, Zara's wrath descended like a storm. Grabbing Fatima by the hair, she dragged her across the kitchen floor. "You're nothing but a burden," Zara spat, striking her so hard that Fatima's lip split. That night, as blood stained her pillow, Fatima silently prayed for deliverance, her tears soaking into the fabric of her late mother's shawl. Her stepbrother, Ali, was the only glimmer of kindness in her life. But his kindness was bound by fear, his love for Fatima overshadowed by Zara's iron grip. At times, he would press a small piece of bread into her hands, his eyes filled with helpless guilt. "I'm sorry, Fatima," he would whisper. But those words only deepened her sorrow. Zara's hatred grew more vicious with time. She began locking Fatima in the dark, windowless storeroom for hours, feeding her scraps of food barely enough to sustain her. Fatima's spirit, though battered, refused to break. In her heart, she still believed in love, in forgiveness, and in the faint hope of freedom. One rare afternoon, Zara begrudgingly allowed Fatima to accompany Alia to the market. It was a moment of reprieve, a brief escape from the suffocating prison she called home. With her face veiled and her eyes downcast, she walked behind Alia, her presence unnoticed except by a young man named Amr. Amr saw something in Fatima's eyes, a depth of pain intertwined with an unyielding grace. He couldn't look away. He asked a shopkeeper about her and soon discovered her name. Days later, Amr's family sent a proposal to Zara's house. Zara, blinded by her ambitions for Alia, assumed the proposal was for her daughter. When Amr arrived to formally express his intentions, Zara adorned Alia in her finest clothes. Fatima was relegated to the kitchen, her heart silently aching. But when Amr spoke, his words shattered the room. "I have come to ask for Fatima's hand in marriage," he declared, his voice unwavering. Zara's face contorted with rage. "How dare you insult my daughter like this?" she screamed, dragging Fatima into the room. She pointed at her with disdain. "This girl is not worthy of your love. She's nothing but a servant." Amr stood his ground, but Zara's refusal was absolute. That night, Zara seethed with fury, plotting to erase what she believed to be Fatima's curse upon her family. The days following Amr's visit were a living nightmare for Fatima. Zara's punishments became more brutal. Fatima's hands bled from hours of scrubbing floors. Her back bore the marks of Zara's wrath. But the true horror came one fateful night. Zara entered Fatima's room with a glass of warm milk. For the first time, her face was calm, her voice deceptively soft. "You've worked hard today, my dear. Drink this," she said. Fatima, weary and yearning for even a semblance of care, accepted the glass with trembling hands. The moment the poisoned milk touched her lips, Fatima felt a sharp pain in her stomach. Her vision blurred, and she collapsed onto the cold floor. As the poison spread through her body, she clutched her mother's shawl tightly, tears streaming down her face. Her final prayer was one of forgiveness for Zara, for Alia, and for a life that had denied her love. Morning came, and the house was eerily silent. Alia, racked with guilt for her treatment of Fatima, decided to visit her stepsister to make amends. But when she opened the door, she was met with a scene that would haunt her forever. Fatima's lifeless body lay curled on the floor, her hands still clutching her mother's shawl. Blood stained her lips, and her once bright eyes were closed forever. Alia's screams pierced the air, bringing Ali and Zara rushing to the scene. Ali fell to his knees, cradling Fatima's cold body. "I should have protected you," he sobbed, his tears soaking into her hair. Zara stood frozen, her face pale as the weight of her crime bore down on her. When the police arrived and questioned her, Zara broke down. "She was destroying my family," she muttered, her voice devoid of remorse. Fatima's funeral was a somber affair. Her fragile body, once so full of life and dreams, was laid to rest beneath a tree, her grave marked by a simple stone. Ali knelt by her side, placing her mother's shawl over the grave. "I will never forget you," he whispered, his heart shattered beyond repair. Alia, consumed by guilt, fell into a deep depression. She would often sit by Fatima's grave, speaking to her as if she were still alive. "I was jealous of you," she would cry. "But you were so much better than I ever could be." Zara was sentenced to prison, but her punishment did little to heal the wounds she had inflicted. Her hatred had destroyed not just Fatima, but her entire family. Ali, though broken, found solace in his love for Aisha. On their wedding day, he placed a single rose on Fatima's grave. "You deserve this happiness," he said, tears streaming down his face. "I will honor your memory by living a life filled with love and kindness." Fatima's story became a haunting reminder of the devastating power of hatred and jealousy. Those who knew her spoke of her kindness, her beauty, and the light she carried even in her darkest moments. Though her life was tragically short, her memory continued to inspire others. A testament to the strength of a heart that refused to hate, even in the face of unimaginable cruelty. Next story, coming soon.